Hi guys, welcome. So today I'm going to be showing you how to turn your piece of paper into a square and how to section it off for our radial design process. So for this you're going to need your art kit that you picked up from school. You will need 2 pieces of paper and a pencil for you to do this with. So I'm going to be using a pen so that you guys can see a little bit better. But you're going to start with your 2 pieces of paper. So in order to make our paper perfectly square, so we don't want to fold it because we don't want any creases, we are going to be overlapping 2 pieces of paper. So instead of stacking them on top of each other, I'm going to be staggering. So I'm focusing on lining up the corner right here. And I just placed 1 piece of paper directly on top. So I have this placed on top. My corners align, they match up on this end. And I'm going to be using this edge right here. So I'm going to be drawing a line on top right here. You can see my piece of paper is on top. So what you're going to be, you're going to be using a pencil for this. For the sake of this video, just so you guys can see a little bit better, I'm going to be using a pen. That will allow my line to show up on screen, but you are using a pencil. So I'm going to just be using this as a hard edge, and I'm going to be drawing a line right where this paper overlaps this one. So you'll notice at this point, when I remove this, I now have 2 sections on this piece of paper. I have one that is now a perfect square and 1 section that's extra. So eventually we're going to be cutting this off. So I'm going to write cut right here so that I know that this area I'm going to be removing. If I want to add an X, I can. So this is I'm not using. Eventually you will cut this piece of paper off from this one. So we now have our piece of paper as a square. We are only going to be using this section right here. So in order to break our piece of paper into 8 triangles, we need a straight edge to begin with. So I'm going to grab that other piece of paper that I was using as a hard edge before to kind of help me out with this. So I'm only going to be drawing lines in this square. I'm going to be starting by connecting or laying this piece of paper on top, going from this corner right here down to this corner. So I'm going to lay this piece of paper directly on top. I'm making sure that it touches one corner to the next. So once again, I'm just using this as a straight edge. If you have a ruler, that works. If you have a piece of cardboard, a book, anything with a straight edge will work for this. You don't have to use this piece of paper. I'm going to go ahead. Once again, you're using pencil for this. For this demo, I'm just going to use pen since it'll show up better on camera. But I'm going to be drawing a straight line using the side of the paper as my guidance. So I now have a straight line going from one corner to the next. Once again, we are not using this section right here, so I don't need to worry about it. So I'm going to do the same thing now with this corner. So I'm going to use that hard edge or my piece of paper, starting from this corner to my other side of my square. So I'm going to set this up like so. It's now going across, and I'm going to use this as a guiding hard edge in order to draw a perfectly straight line. So at this point on your piece of paper, you should have an X marks the spot square. So once you have this on your paper, we now need to split each of these triangles into 2 sections. So to do so, Once again, I'm just using this piece of paper. You are going to be using a pencil. I'm using a pen just for the demo. This piece of paper has a perfect 90-degree angle, so that's what I'm going to be using to help me. So we don't want our line to be kind of off to an angle. As you can kind of see, it's not lining up. We want it to be perfectly straight up and down, straight across. So I'm going to line this side, this line, up with the top here, with this line that I've already created, in order to create a perfectly straight up and down line that is going to go from the top of this section right here to the bottom of this triangle. So I'm once again using a hard edge or that piece of paper in order to create a perfectly straight up and down line that doesn't off kilter. We want each of these sections to be the exact same size. So once you have that, we're going to do the same exact process but through this triangle. So I'm going to have my straight edge. I'm going to line up this side of my piece of paper with this side of my piece of paper, so that way I know that it's going straight up and down. It's creating a perfect 90-degree angle. You are doing this in pencil. I'm just doing this in pen to show you for this demo. So I now have what kind of looks like a spider web. So whenever you're done with this, you should have 8 triangles that are the exact same size. So if you haven't already, you're going to go ahead. We do not need this section over here. So I'm going to cut this away from the rest of my paper. I'm just cutting along this line. And now I'm left with a perfectly square piece of paper with all of my triangle sections happening. So the side that has all of your lines is going to be the back. Okay, so whenever we are actually drawing and working on our project, we will be using the blank side that does not have any lines on it. But for our preparation process, for our designing, we are going to be using the back side since one of these triangles is already perfectly measured out for us. So after you have created our perfectly square piece of paper and sectioned off into 8 triangles, it is now your turn to start designing. So you are going to be on the back side, so where you can see the lines. To begin this process, you are going to be creating your design in only one of these triangles based off of your mood board. So if you created a mood board about a specific topic, whether that is some sort of creature, underwater scene, nature-filled, I don't know, nature-filled field, whatever it is that you chose for your theme for this project, on the back side, so where you can see all of your lines in pencil, you're going to go ahead and start drawing and designing just this one triangle with contour lines. So you don't need to value shade, you don't need to add crazy amounts of detail, you're just doing outlines so that way you can see exactly what you need to transfer. So once you have this page split on the back side where you see your lines, you're going to be designing one of these triangles, filling it with everything from your mood board. So go ahead, work on that. I'm going to upload this to our class website so that you guys have access to it.